Good afternoon to all of you. Myself, K. Manjula, Assistant Professor of Physics, Dr. BRR Government Degree College, Jadchalra, Mahabubnagar district. In this today's class, let us discuss about adiabatic demagnetization. Means how we get the low temperatures by using this adiabatic demagnetization. Already we are discussing the methods how we get the low temperatures. We have already completed the Joule-Thomson cooling also, and another important method is also there, that is adiabatic demagnetization. Before going to this adiabatic demagnetization, let us know about the experimental processes done by the various scientists in getting these low temperatures. These lowest temperatures near absolute zero can be attained by the boiling hydrogen or boiling helium under pressure. By using this method, Kamerlingh Onnes, a named scientist, attained a temperature of 0.82 Kelvin by evaporating liquid helium. He used the pressure as 0.013 millimeters of Hg. Similarly, Kasam named another scientist. By using this method, he attained a temperature of 0.7 Kelvin. And another scientists, Debye and Giac, in 1926 attained a very lowest temperature, that is 0.25 Kelvin, by another method that is called adiabatic demagnetization, which we are going to learn. So this is the lowest temperature until we reached so far. So let us enter into our lesson, that is adiabatic demagnetization. What is the principle involved in this method? So just that is adiabatic demagnetization, that is already magnetized material is suddenly subjected to demagnetized adiabatically. That is the meaning of the word, that is adiabatic demagnetization. So that is when a paramagnetic substance already magnetized is suddenly demagnetized, it shows a slight fall in its temperature. This is the simple formula involved in this one. Simply adiabatic demagnetization. Magnetized material is converted into demagnetized material adiabatically. So that is the principle. So here a question arises, why it shows a slight fall in temperature? So to understand this, let us know about the domain theory of substances. We know that each substance, any substance or we are discussing about paramagnetic substances. So if we take a paramagnetic salt, that is this paramagnetic salt is made up with atoms, and the atoms are considered to be a small magnet according to domain theory. In the absence of magnetic field, what are these domains are, what are these magnets are doing? They are aligned in randomly oriented such that total magnetic field will be, magnetic moment will be zero. So that is the case in the absence of magnetic field. Just observe this figure. So that is here. In the absence of, that is B is equal to 0. In the absence of magnetic field, all the atoms are aligned in different directions. So the net magnetic field will be 0. B is equal to 0 in the absence of magnetic field. When we apply a magnetic field on this paramagnetic substance, the atoms aligned into unidirection. That means aligned into the applied magnetic field. That means they come into the unidirection. That is B. These are the two figures we are observing. In the absence of B, in the absence of B, in the presence of B. So this is the orientation of molecules in presence of B, in presence of B, and in absence of B. So here let us try to understand what is happening when we apply a magnetic field in this paramagnetic salt. So when we are applying a magnetic field on this paramagnetic salt, we are doing some external work. So we are applying a magnetic field. That means we are doing some external work, W. We are doing external work on the system. That means we are doing some external work on this paramagnetic salt. When we are doing this work, its internal energy increases. Means the work which we done on this paramagnetic salt is added to its internal energy. So its U increases. If U increases, its temperature increases. That means this is the in the presence of magnetic field. Totally, when we apply a magnetic field on the paramagnetic salt, its temperature increases. This is the first step. When the paramagnetic salt is magnetized, what is happening? A work is done on the system. That is, a work is done on the paramagnetic salt, external work. So that next, when this is the condition, this is the case when this paramagnetic salt is magnetized. Next, when this paramagnetic salt is subjected to demagnetized, what happens? Again, these molecules convert into their original positions. So this is the case. Just try to understand. This is the case when the paramagnetic salt is magnetized. Then next, what happens when this paramagnetic salt is demagnetized? So see here, when the paramagnetic salt is magnetized, the certain amount of external work is added to the system, so that its internal energy increases. So its temperature. So due to this fact, the temperature of the substance rises. Next, when this salt is demagnetized, the atoms will come back to their original random orientation. Means how the atoms come back? They have, without doing, the atoms come back to their original position? No. So they have to do some work. So when the salt is demagnetized, the atoms will come back to the original random orientation, and they have to do work. The work is done by the atom. That is, the work is done by the system. The work is done by the paramagnetic salt. So where this to do this work, who supplies the energy? That means as the paramagnetic salt is demagnetized adiabatically. Means adiabatically means there is no heat transfer between itself and the surrounding. So it has to take its internal energy. So it uses some of the internal energy to come to the original position. Automatically the internal energy of the salt decreases, so the temperature falls down. That means the salt will be cooled. This is the explanation of the adiabatic demagnetization. So what is the condition when the paramagnetic salt is magnetized? What is the condition when the paramagnetic salt is demagnetized? So this is. So let us know about this experiment. What is the significance of this experiment? By using this adiabatic demagnetization, the temperature we attained until so far is 0.25 Kelvin. The paramagnetic salts which we are used in this experiment are double sulfate of potassium and aluminum. By using this substance, we attained a temperature of 0.002 Kelvin. For chromium aluminum alum, this is we attained a temperature 0.0014 Kelvin. So this is the lowest temperature reached so far. This is 0.0014 Kelvin is the. So let us learn about this experimental process. This is the adiabatic demagnetization experimental figure. This is this is the experimental process. You are observing this Dewar flask arrangement system in this adiabatic demagnetization. Let us see the description part of this experiment. You are observing here, see here, you are observing this is the first part, this is the vessel. We are observing a cylindrical vessel, namely that is A. After that, another this one B. B is the Dewar flask 1. Next, another Dewar flask, and these are the magnetic fields. N, S are the magnetic. That is mainly 4 parts. That is cylindrical vessel, inner part, and first one this is cylindrical vessel. Next, this is also Dewar flask, and this one. This is also Dewar flask, third one. Next, these two are the magnets to apply a magnetic field. So, the paramagnetic, first of all, the paramagnetic substance P here in this vessel, P is suspended in vessel A. This vessel is connected to a vacuum pump. So, this is the first part. The paramagnetic salt is suspended with the help of nylon or silk thread in this vessel. Next, this vessel, after that, this vessel is surrounded by a liquid helium in this one. In this second, you are observing in this liquid helium in Dewar flask B. Next, again this Dewar flask B is surrounded by another Dewar flask, that is C, containing a hydrogen. In first Dewar flask, it is a helium, and another Dewar flask hydrogen. Next, by using this S magnets, a strong magnetic field applied, which provides 10,000 Gauss field. To apply a magnetic field, we have a arrangement of magnets. Next, here you are observing these are small round coils. These are the coils which are around this vessel are used to measure the magnetic field in terms of susceptibility. This is the experimental process. So, this is the coils. Here, these are the coils M around A are used to measure the temperature or by susceptibility measurements. Next, let us see how this operator works. That is, first of all, this A means the cylindrical vessel A is filled with helium gas. So that what happens by filling this vessel, by filling this one with helium gas, the substance P comes to the thermal contact of helium. That means helium is at 1 Kelvin temperature. Next step, just we apply the magnetic field. That means magnetizing field is switched on. Next, due to this magnetizing field, the paramagnetic substance, the work is done on this material, so that its temperature increases, but heat flows through the helium gas, because already we filled this vessel with helium gas. So heat flows, the increased heat flows through the helium gas into the liquid. So the temperature of paramagnetic salt P again falls to 1 Kelvin, means it is at constant 1 Kelvin only. After this, helium gas, next step to demagnetization adiabatically, the helium gas is now pumped out from the vessel A. So, paramagnetic substance will become insulated. That means we are doing this system as adiabatically. Next step, the magnetic field should be switched off. Switched off means we are doing the paramagnetic salt as demagnetization. So, due to adiabatic demagnetization of the substance, its temperature falls. So, automatically the fall in temperature is detected by susceptibility measuring coils, which are around the vessel A. So, that is the experimental process. Let us try to derive the fall in temperature theoretically. Already we discussed only two cases. When the paramagnetic salt is magnetized, what is the work done on the system? First we have to calculate. Next, when the paramagnetic salt is demagnetized, what is the work done by the salt? These are the two cases important involved in this adiabatic demagnetization. So, for that purpose, let us see, when a paramagnetic substance is magnetized, its molecules try to align in the direction of field and work is done on the system. This is not fact. So, what is the field we are applying? Say, let the paramagnetic substance is placed in the magnetic field of magnetic flux density. We are applying the magnetic field of that is B. So, due to the application of this magnetic field, the initial intensity of magnetization per 1 gram mole, we say that is I. When we apply this magnetic field B on that salt, then the change in intensity of magnetization due to apply of magnetic field B can be shown by Di. So, the work done on the system is by using this external work formula, that is dW is equal to PdV, we know. In place of P, we are writing a magnetic field, that is B. In place of dV, we are writing change in magnetization. So, just convert this work dW is equal to PdV formula into BdI. So, the work done by the field on the substance is equal to BdI. That means totally what is the meaning of this equation is that when the paramagnetic salt is magnetized, the amount of work done on the salt is nothing but BdI. So, this is the work done. Next step, we are doing the substance demagnetized. When the substance is demagnetized, in this case also the work done by the substance. What is the work done by the substance? The same, but minus, we put here minus, because this is the work done by the substance. Whereas the work done on the system is considered to be as a BdI. The work done by the system is nothing but minus BdI. Next step, when the substance is demagnetized, the work done by the substance is minus BdI. So, therefore, that will be represented by dW is equal to minus BdI. Just use the first law of thermodynamics, that is dQ is equal to du plus dW. Similarly, next step, dQ is equal to du minus BdI. In place of dW, we are substituting minus BdI. Already we know that dQ is equal to TdS. According to second law of thermodynamics, dQ is equal to TdS du minus BdI. Let us take Maxwell thermodynamic relation between entropy and pressure. We have 4 equations now. Just use the relation between entropy and pressure. So, that is the third Maxwell thermodynamic relation between entropy and pressure is dou T by dou P at constant S is equal to dou V by dou S at constant P. So, just convert this equation into magnetizing terms. In place of P, we are writing minus B. In place of V, we are writing I. So, therefore, the equation changes into dou T by dou B. In place of P, we are writing B. Dou T by dou B at constant S is equal to dou I by dou S at constant P. Or dou T by dou B at constant S, right hand side we are dividing this numerator and denominator with dividing the dou T term. So, the equation can be like this. That is dou I by dou t at constant b by dou s by dou t at constant b. Just observe the first equation. Next, let m is the mass of the specimen which we are taken in the form of P, that is paramagnetic salt, and it has some specific heat also. So CBE, it's a specific heat at constant field. Then the equation dou S by dou T at constant B, that we are considering the denominator in the first equation. Dou S by dou T at constant B can be written as, again we are dividing this one with dividing and multiplying with the t by t of dou S by dou T. Next step 1 by t ds by dou T. Here TdS is nothing but observed heat, that is dou Q. So by substituting that one, we get dou Q by dou T at constant B. Next step, dou S by dou T at constant B is equal to, it is nothing but dou Q, the observed heat at constant magnetic field is written as specific heat, that is Cb. The mass of the substance is m. So totally the equation can be written as right hand side, that is dou S by dou T at constant B can be written as mCb by T. This equation dou S by dou T at constant B, this substituting this in equation 1, then the equation converts into dou T by dou B at constant S is equal to dou I by dou T at constant B by mCb by T. Next step, dou T by dou B at constant S is equal to minus T by mCb into dou I by dou T at constant B. Here minus we are using, we have to use here minus, just assume here in the first equation minus will be there here, just it is not shown in this equation, just minus will be here in this equation. So minus dou T by dou B at constant S is equal to minus T by mCb dou I by dou T at constant B. Here minus shows fall in temperature. Why the fall in temperature? The substance is doing some work. To do this work, it absorbs, it loses its some of its internal energy, so its temperature decreases. So the change in temperature dou T can be written as minus T by mCb dou I by dou T at constant B, by taking this dou B here, dou B. Second equation. Here what is the meaning of this second equation is that this equation shows the fall in temperature of the substance due to adiabatic demagnetization. This is the fall in temperature. Just try to eliminate these differentiation terms, or in terms of susceptibility also we can calculate this fall in temperature. So let us try to understand this susceptibility. The susceptibility is nothing but Xi. Susceptibility, what is the susceptibility? The ratio between intensity of magnetization of specimen to the intensity of magnetizing field. That means Xi is nothing but I by B. That is intensity of magnetization of the material by the application of magnetizing field, that is Xi is equal to I by B. But we know that this susceptibility is indirectly proportional to the temperature of the substance, directly proportional. So next Xi is equal to C by T. Here C is nothing but Curie constant. So again substituting X is equal to C by T. Next X is equal to, by combining these two equations, I by B is equal to C by T. Therefore, intensity of magnetization I can be written as BC by T. So, just we are calculating what is the magnetization term. What is the magnetization term in terms of susceptibility? So for this purpose, I is equal to BC by T. So substitute this I is equal to BC by T in above equation. We get dou T, means change in temperature, dou T is equal to minus T by MCB dou by dou T of BC. We are substituting in place of I, BC by T. BC by T into dB, dou B. Say this is third equation. To simplify this one, just assume Ti is the initial temperature of the system, Bi is the initial field, Tf is the final temperature, Bf is the final field, final magnetic field. So, to eliminate this differentiation, integrating this equation, third equation, between the limits of Ti, Tf, Tf and Bi, Bf, we get integration Ti to Tf dou T must be equal to minus T by MCB integration Bi to Bf dou by dou T of BC by T dou B. Integrating this dou T, we get T. By substituting the limits, we get Tf minus Ti must be equal to minus T by MCB integration Bi to Bf into, by differentiating this BC by T with respect to T, we get minus BC by T square into dou B. Next step, minus to minus plus T by MCB C by T square. Again, if we integrate this magnetic field B square by 2, we get, that is B square by 2 within the limits Bi to Bf. By substituting these limits, C by 2 M CB T into Bf square minus Bi square. Here just see here, C by M. C by M is nothing but Curie constant. If we replace this C by M term with K, then the equation converts into this equation Tf minus Ti is equal to K by 2CB dt into Bf square minus Bi square. This is the fall in temperature. And after this, if assume that when the field is switched off, means when the material, when the substance is demagnetized, then the Bf should be, final applied magnetic field will be 0. Substituting Tf minus Ti is equal to minus K Bi square by 2CB T. This is the fall in temperature. Here minus we are getting, this here also minus means a fall in temperature. Like this, paramagnetic salt shows the fall in temperature. This is the equation for fall in temperature of the paramagnetic salt. By seeing this equation, what we understand that to get a maximum cooling, the cooling depends upon what? Applied magnetic field and the temperature. So, to get maximum cooling, what we have to do? Initial magnetic field B will be large. If the magnetizing field B is more, then the cooling effect will be more. Similarly, second one, the paramagnetic salt possesses a large Curie constant and small specific heat, that is K and C. If C is small specific heat, C will be small, then the cooling effect will be more. Similarly, initial temperature will be as small as possible. These are the 3 steps. By taking 3 precautions, we get maximum cooling in this adiabatic demagnetization method. And we used these paramagnetic substances. We used in this experiment the gadolinium, that is Debye and Giacchi used gadolinium sulfate. By using this gadolinium sulfate, they attained a 0.25 Kelvin temperature. And different paramagnetic salts or substances are also used for this purpose. And different paramagnetic substances have different temperatures. So some of the paramagnetic substances are here. Just see, that is gadolinium sulfate. By using this gadolinium sulfate, 0.25 Kelvin they reached. And crystals of potassium alum also used in this adiabatic demagnetization method. Means this also shows a fall in temperature. Crystals of potassium alum, ferrous chloride, cerium fluoride, and iron ammonium alum. Next, cerium ethyl sulfate, and double sulfate of potassium and aluminum, etc. So many another paramagnetic substances are also shows the fall in temperature when they are used in this adiabatic demagnetization method. So this is about today's class, that is adiabatic demagnetization, how the substance shows fall in temperature and the equation part of fall in temperature. Just revise this today's class. That is adiabatic demagnetization. The adiabatic demagnetization method was proposed by Debye and Giacchi in 1926 by using this adiabatic demagnetization of paramagnetic salts, and they attain a temperature of 0.25 Kelvin. By using this method also, another temperature also we reached, that is 0.00, that is 0.00, just now we discussed that one, that is 0.0014 Kelvin. This is the lowest temperature until we reached so far. So coming to this adiabatic demagnetization, in the name itself the meaning, that is already magnetized material is subjected to demagnetized adiabatically. So its temperature decreases. This is the principle involved in this one. What is the reason why the temperature falls down? Means in the absence of B, the molecules are aligned in different direction. So net magnetic moment will be 0. In the presence of B, means in the presence of applied magnetic field, the molecules are come back to their original position. Means when we apply a magnetic field on the substance, some work is done on the system. When the magnetizing field is removed, then the work is done by the atoms. To do this work, the atoms receives some of the internal energy of its own. So internal energy decreases, so that temperature falls down. So the salt shows fall in temperature. This is the principle involved in this paramagnetic adiabatic demagnetization. In this adiabatic demagnetization, experimental process is there. This is the vessel. The substance P. The substance is taken in the form of P here. It is suspended with the help of silk or nylon thread. And this vessel is connected to a vacuum pump. This vessel again is surrounded by a Dewar flask, which is containing liquid helium, and this Dewar flask is surrounded by another flask which is containing the liquid hydrogen. After that, strong magnets will be there, that is to apply a strong magnetic field of 10,000 Gauss. This is the next, these coils you are observing, some circular shaped coils are used to measure the temperature in terms of susceptibility terms. This is the method. Next, working principle. First of all, helium gas is filled in the vessel A so that the paramagnetic salt is contact with the liquid helium, so that the temperature of this paramagnetic also at 1 Kelvin only. Next, to apply a magnetizing field, just switch on the magnetizing field, then the paramagnetic field, paramagnetic salt becomes warmed, its temperature rises. This heat flows through the helium gas to the into the liquid helium. So the aim of this one is to maintain the constant temperature of salt at 1 Kelvin only. After this one, just helium gas is pumped out, so that we are doing the system adiabatically. Next step, the magnetic field is switched off, means we are doing the demagnetization. So the substance, when the field is switched off, the adiabatic demagnetization takes place, the temperature of the salt falls down. This temperature is detected by the susceptibility measuring coils. Coming to the theory part, only two things you have to calculate, that is work done on the system, work done by the system. So that is the two important. That is the work done on the system is nothing but by using external work formula dW is equal to PdV. Just convert this into our magnetizing terms, that is dW is equal to VDI. So this is the work done on the system VDI when the field is switched on. When the field is switched off, the work done by the system is nothing but minus BDI. See here, minus BDI. So coming to the change this, after calculating this work done by the substance by using first law of thermodynamics, convert this one into entropy terms, that is we get TdS is equal to du minus BDI. Here ds is the change in entropy. Change in entropy takes place because temperature, there is a change in temperature. Let us use the Maxwell's relation between entropy and pressure. What is the equation? That is dou T by dou P at constant S is equal to dou V by dou S at constant P. Convert this into magnetizing terms. That is dou T by dou B. In place of P, just substitute minus B. In place of V, substitute I. Dou T by dou B at constant S is equal to dou I by dou S at constant B. Here just assume a minus here. Minus is not shown here. Actually minus will be there. Dou T by dou B at constant S is equal to, by dividing this right hand side with dou T and numerator and denominator, we get first equation. Next, assume that the mass of our specimen is m and specific heat of our mass also Cb. Then the equation converts, then the equation changes into, that is we are discussing about the denominator of first equation, dou S by dou T, entropy with respect to T at constant field, dou S by dou T at constant B is equal to, we can write this equation as T by T, dou S by dou T is equal to 1 by T, dou Q by dou T at constant B. Here TdS is nothing but observed heat, that is dou Q. So dou S by dou T at constant B can be written as mCB by T. So after calculating this one, substitute this in above first equation in place of denominator. then the equation changes. Dou T by dou B at constant S is equal to dou I by dou T at constant B by mCB by T. Again continuation. Dou T by dou B at constant S is equal to minus T by mCB dou I by dou T at constant. Here minus shows the fall in temperature. So dou T and then fall in temperature can be written as minus T by mCB dou I by dou T at constant B dou B. So this is the fall in temperature. Let us try to show this equation in terms of susceptibility terms. Susceptibility is the property of a substance. Susceptibility is nothing but the ratio between intensity of magnetization due to the application of magnetizing field. That is, Xi can be written as I by B. But according to Curie's law, this susceptibility is indirectly proportional to the absolute temperature of that substance. That is, Xi is proportional to 1 by T. Xi, next step, C by T. Here C is nothing but a Curie constant. By above combining these two equations, we get magnetization I is equal to Bc by T. Substituting this magnetization term in our above equation, dou T means fall in temperature, we are substituting the I value. That is, dou T is equal to minus T by mCB into dou by dou T into Bc by T by dou B. To eliminate differential term, just by integrating we get the final equation. For this purpose, assume Ti and Tf are the initial temperature, Tf is the final temperature, Bi is the initial temperature and Bf is the final temperature. Integrating this third equation within the limits Ti, Tf, Bi, Bf, we get Tf minus Ti is equal to minus T by mCB. By differentiating this Bc by T terms, we get Bc by minus Bc by T square dou B. Therefore, next step, T by mCB into C by T square, B square by 2, Bf within the limits Bi to Bf. Next, C by 2m CBT Bf square minus Bi square. Here in place of C by m Curie constant, if we substitute another term, that is K. Tf minus Ti can be written as K by 2 CBT into Bf square minus Bi square. Means in the second case we are switched off this field. We switched off this field, no? Therefore, by substituting final field as a 0, Tf minus Ti is equal to minus Kbi square by 2CBT. So, this is the final equation for fall in temperature of a paramagnetic salt in the adiabatic demagnetization method. By seeing this equation, mainly the fall in temperature depends upon the three quantities, that is applied magnetic field, specific heat and the initial temperature. So for this purpose, to get a maximum cooling, this precaution should be taken. The magnetic field B will be large. Similarly, the paramagnetic salt have large Curie constant and a small specific heat. Initial temperature Ti should be as small as possible. These are the precautions to get a maximum cooling. And these some other paramagnetic substances also there which are used in adiabatic demagnetization, which shows the fall in temperature. And that is gadolinium sulfate crystal. Means here one thing remember, that is different paramagnetic substances shows different fall in temperature. By using gadolinium sulfate, we got that is 0.25 K temperature, lowest temperature. Crystals of potassium alamols, ferrous chloride, cerium fluoride, iron ammonium alum. Next, cerium ethyl sulfate. Next, double sulfate of potassium and aluminum. And another substances also shows this fall in temperatures. This is about adiabatic demagnetization. This is today's class.